good afternoon. Here on the island of the Eternal Spring, we are happy to have you here. And the idea was to continue our series about 8 questions, 8 islands. And today we got a special guest as well from Finland, and her name is Noora. Noora, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. How are you today?
I'm really good, thank you.
Okay. Can you introduce yourself, please, to our sailors, to our viewers, what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm an Olympic sailor from Finland. I sail the 49er FX, which is the Olympic class for women. And yeah, that's basically what I do.
Oh, it's great to have you too. Thanks for that. And yeah, let's go straight into the first questions. How did you come to sailing? How did you start sailing in general? And how did you get the chance to sail in the Olympic team?
I started sailing like at a summer camp. My parents took me to a summer camp and I really liked it. And then I just continued going to trainings. And it was a hobby for a long time. And I didn't really see it as I didn't have like a clear Olympic dream until maybe when I was around, what I would have been 18 when I changed the class. And around that time, I heard that there's a new women's class coming in the 49er. And that was really exciting. And I'm like, maybe this is my chance. So that's basically how it got more realistic. And then I got the Olympic dream and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I searched for opportunities and I found my way through to the team.
Awesome. Why did you, or what fascinates you in sailing? For example, you also could be a cycle racer or hiking or winter sports, or what fascinates you in sailing?
Yeah, that's true because I'm a competitive person, so I could be doing anything else. And I actually tried a lot of different sports, but for some reason I liked sailing, and I think it's because you have the environment, the nature so close by, and the feeling of being on the ocean. It's kind of like, you're steering your own car, but you're not surrounded by boundaries, so you can kind of go anywhere. And I think the best part, especially in racing and sailing, that there's so many components and elements to it. So it's not just about being like physically really good. It's also about, tactical strategies, how the other boats do, how the wind is. If there's suddenly a storm, you have to adapt. So the adapting and finding, like solving problems is what I love.
This sounds great. So this is, yeah, finally it's the same for me. I totally can feel what you're saying, because you totally can cut down your thoughts. You're in a totally different world during sailing, during racing. Yeah. Which boats are you sailing? You started saying 49ers. Can you go a bit more into that? What are you sailing in the women's team?
So at the moment I'm sailing the 49er FX, and that's the women's class of 49er. And I've been sailing that for, I don't know, 8 years or 7 years since it started 2013. I think the first boats came, and that's when I got my first rig and got the opportunity to sail. But before that, I used to sail 29ers and, all the opti dinghy thing. But at the moment, I'm only sailing the 49er because there's not much time to sail anything else, unfortunately.
Let's stay with that point a bit more. How would you explain, or how would you describe sailing a dinghy for the big boat sailors? How's the difference? How could you describe that?
Well, I think in the big boats, you're more people. So you're maybe more than 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the team. And we're only 2 in our team. That means that all the like responsibility and all the tasks are divided only for two people. So when I go and sail the big boat, if I go and I'm the tactician, that's my only role is to be a tactician. But when I sail my boat, I'm the tactician, the skipper, the weights. I have a lot of roles. So it's more, I wouldn't say more fun, maybe more fun. That's what I think. I can be like, I have more things. That's my responsibility. So I think that's fun.
Oh, great. Yeah, for sure. It's let's say again with this topic for a second. So how would you describe this? It's more active, more sporty than on a big boat, more wet, or do you have some words what you can put around that to give people a bit an experience?
I'm thinking I have sailed big boats, and of course, because that's still a big part of the sailing, but not that much. So I don't want to put too much words of like comparing. But of course, it's more wet because we're closer to the water, and it's like we're not swimming, but the water is like we're like in the water basically all the time, much closer than big boat sailing, and the boat is more like how do you say, like it reacts quicker and stuff. So capsizing is totally part of the sport when it's windy. So there's some swimming as well. But like it's just so different. Like it's like I don't know, driving a motorcycle compared to driving a bus.
Yeah should be great. Everybody should try that.
Yes, for sure. I think so. Well, you just get a different experience, but I should also be sailing more big boats, and I would love to sail more big boats to understand, like, it's just so different in big boats. You're more people around, and the boat is more stable.
We met us here on the island during your training in Rubicon. You visit us here you send a message because you were looking for some spare parts, and with the small things we were able to help out, and this is how we met each other. How was the training here for you on the island? I guess I can imagine you're training in a lot of different areas around the world. What was your experience from here where you trained?
Yeah, I would say we travel a lot. So we've been training all around the globe in different locations. But Lanzarote, I think my experience was that it was incredible. One of the top places to train. I loved it because, first of all, the weather is always amazing. And second of all, which affects the mindset a lot. And second of all, is that the wind was awesome. And there was like big waves, but you could also choose to be in the south where we were. You could choose to be on less wavy places and then the wavy places. So it totally depended on where you went. So we got a different variety of training. And I think that's really important, that depending on what you want to practice on, you can change the place where you train and still be in the same place, like harbor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also what I heard from our customer, that they can give us the feedback that they can choose. You can stay in the north with the bit rougher weather. You can go down to the south to have easy, calm conditions. But when you speak about waves, because we got often the questions, and you spoke about big waves. What is a big wave for you? How would you describe a big and a small wave from your perspective?
So I don't really know like the meter in a way, but I would say big waves for us is like big swell. So they're more longer and bigger. So the boat actually, basically our boat is 5 meters long. So if the whole boat is like basically under the wave, then on top of the big wave under, that's a big wave. But when it's a small wave, it's more like choppy. So the boat does like this move. It's different.
Um, did you train only in, or was your training only in Lanzarote, or did you also train on another island of the Canaries?
Unfortunately, I only had a chance to train in Lanzarote or the area in between Lanzarote and Fuerteventura, but I only went for holidays to Fuerteventura. I didn't sail there, so I can't
Okay.
compare.
But are you surfer? Did you surf over in Fuerteventura, or?
No, I did not. I
Okay.
really like surfing, but I like doing a lot of other things as well. So sometimes I don't have a time to do everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess as Olympic team, it's quite a big, a tight schedule to
Yes.
do private things. Or how can I imagine that? How is your day when you start? When does it end, and how does it go through your day?
Well, so when we train like in camps. So when I go on a camp, I come to Lanzarote, for example, and then it's really like scheduled or routine. So every morning, let's say I wake up at 7:30, I do like a morning workout, then I make my breakfast, and then I also meal prep my lunch. So I always bring my lunch with me because we
Mm.
normally don't have time to eat lunch. We have to eat it like at the harbor. And then I leave to the harbor around 10. We prepare the boat. We go normally eat some lunch there, go sailing, sail for 3 hours,
Mhm.
something like that. Come back. Then we have, if this is like one session day, then we come back, we eat something again just after sailing because food is really important and you use a lot of energy, so you're tired all the time. We have a briefing, which normally takes, it could take from 15 minutes to 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on what you're discussing. That's like, sorry, the debrief. And then in the evening, I normally do a workout, maybe around 6 p.m. Then I make dinner and then I go to bed at
That's a
10.
tight schedule, yeah.
That's the schedule.
And how was that here? Did Lanzarote leave an impression on you? Did you had the chance to see something from the inland, or you just followed your schedule? Or did you had a day off to check out the island, or how was it?
Yes. We spent there actually all 2.5 months.
Mm.
So I had some days off. Yes. I did have a lot of, like, I went hiking, for example. We did some rides around the island. I went biking,
Mm.
uh, swimming. I can't remember what I did. Like, I tried to do all the sports I could, but my body needs to rest in between the sailing. So when I have a day off, you're like really tired. And that's really unfortunate because I just want to do so much, but I can't do everything.
Okay. What are your personal goals in sailing sport? Because at the intro, you said something about you start sailing, but you were not really sure about what will come around the next corner in Olympic sailing in the women's team. What about now? What about your goals, your aims? What do you want to be when you in some years, in 10 years, 5 years?
I think, well, I don't know for sure what I want to be then. My goal so far has been the Olympics. So Rio Olympics was my goal, and I went there with this same boat. Now then, Tokyo Olympics this year was also my goal, but unfortunately we didn't qualify, which is really sad because that was like I really wanted to go. And I really wanted to succeed, but maybe it just wasn't our time yet. So now I'm basically still like happy to see what the future brings,
Okay.
basically. But Olympic goals has been so far the thing driving me. And I would like to add, like, of course, it would be really nice to, sail the America's Cup one day or something like that. But as a woman, that opportunity is not there yet, but hopefully like soon or slowly getting more and more women into the big boats, the cool boats.
What about the Wonderglove? Could you imagine you would sail single-handed around the globe on a foiling race boat, on a bigger boat?
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I'm more of a social person, so I think I would probably go crazy. Okay. I don't, you know, being alone for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I can remember, I guess it was in 2000, I forgot it. There was a women's team from SCA in the Volvo Ocean Race, I can remember.
Yeah, I remember there was one, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess there are also some opportunities. I guess there's some women's team during the very famous race in England. I'm sorry, I forgot the name.
I should probably know, but I don't know either. So
yeah, fascinate race. Now we get it. Sometimes it takes some seconds, but
yeah.
Fascinates race. There are also a lot of teams, but that sounds very, very nice. And fingers crossed for all what you imagine, what you want to do. Any words, any things what you want to leave for our viewers?
Well, I would like to say maybe, of course, if you have a chance to try dinghy, you should definitely try it because it's so different if you only have been sailing big boats. A dinghy is special. You learn a lot from it. And also one other thing is I wish I will be heading back to Lanzarote soon because I only have good memories and the sailing was amazing. I wish Finland would have such a nice weather than Lanzarote has more often.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you're welcome always, all the time here, whenever you want to come around. And yeah, I would say thank you for your time. This was quite interesting. And yeah, let's say goodbye to the people.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye.